Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Richard Fleming, and today is Thursday, December 10th, 2020. Today is the day that the FDA is supposed to hear from Pfizer vaccines to provide a determination about whether an emergency use authorization for the Pfizer vaccine should be given and begin the inoculation of Americans. Like most of you, I've been very curious about what the outcome will be, but as a scientist physician who has seen way too much political involvement in this disease of SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19, the writing is already on the wall. However, I've been looking at the documents that have been provided to the FDA and asking the very fundamental question, where is the data? Where is the data that shows that the vaccination of individuals with the Pfizer vaccine produces antibodies in response to the vaccination? That is, after all, the fundamental justification for giving a vaccine. Either the development of a T cell response, which occurs earlier, or an antibody response that occurs later at about 1 week. It's the presence of the development of that T cell response or antibody response that actually provides a potential benefit. Although, if you've been listening to the podcast that I've been putting up on this YouTube channel, you will come to understand that I have a great concern about these immunologic responses to the vaccines because it is this very uncontrolled immunologic response in people with comorbidities that's producing the inflammation and blood clotting that's killing people. But putting aside the fact that the vaccine itself, if it's effective and produces an inflammothrombotic response, more than likely will kill people with comorbidities, let's go to that fundamental question of what data Pfizer is presenting and what data the FDA is using to justify efficacy. That is to say, that the vaccine works. I've been reviewing several documents, including the Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee, December 10, 2020 meeting presentation, review of the efficacy and safety of Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine emergency use authorization request. Within that document, I can tell you there is absolutely no data that talks about a T cell response or the development of antibodies. And if you've been listening to this YouTube channel, I've been emphasizing the need to measure IgA antibodies, since those are the ones that defend our respiratory system and GI tract. But there's not even IgG or IgM data in this 53-page report. In fact, if you look at the efficacy findings, every one of them talks about the fact that more work is really needed to prove any type of efficacy. One of the interesting things that was posted in one of the New York papers is that 100% of the African American or Black individuals in this vaccine study got benefit. The only problem is that on page 27 of that report, you'll find out that there's actually no African American or Black people that were included in the vaccine component of the data. So I guess 100% of zero is zero. If we're going to allow Americans to be guinea pigged with this vaccine, and we're going to ignore the fact that we can treat this with a multitude of treatments that have been presented earlier this week and in multiple publications, including mine, but not just mine, many papers that have looked at the different drugs that are available by physicians that are reporting very successful treatment. If we're just going to ignore all that and pretend that none of that exists and that fantasy is just as good as any other one that the federal government is using right now, then we should at least ask, where's the data? Or was that the Hardee's commercial? Where's the beef? There's nothing to support that these vaccines do what they supposedly do.